Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is Tattletales from Tales from the Vector. And I am doing a collective reading here. This is general, so just be advised that this is not going to resonate. All parts of it may not resonate, but just take what works for you. Welcome to my channel. I have been working with this new framework. It's a pyramid, and I really enjoyed it last night. It was my first reading. Now I'm doing another. I just want to double check that, yes, you can see all the pictures there. All right. So with this bottom row, we're looking at your basic needs, like what do you need to move forward here. And so the Chariot, and the last reading, the Chariot was in there also, and the Chariot is talking about really quick forward movement, and it's, if you notice in the picture of the Chariot, there's no reins. So this is someone that's like on their purpose, they're on the move, they're ready to go, and things start moving more quickly. And it's because this person's on their journey, like they're on their path that their purpose has led them to. And it's coming up the Temperance card, which is regarding your devotion to your purpose. So this reading is, and I just want to, I forgot to do this at the last reading, but I just want to check the card on the bottom of the deck. Oh, look at that. I just want to make double sure you can see this because I'm just learning. So the underlying energy is like kind of the behind the scenes energy. It sort of sets the tone for what this is about. This is one of the, this is the card of fulfillment. So that we're off to a great start. Last night's reading was, or yesterday afternoon's reading was actually really good. So this is actually a marriage card, but it's also like fulfillment. So you'll see that in life. And basically what this card says is don't settle. Because if you look at the picture, you'll notice that those wands are really, really tall, like compared to like the scope of the rest of the picture. And this is like the 1111 portal, which is like a portal of manifestation. And so a beautiful card to have the energy underlying in the reading. And here we've got the Chariot, so it's going to happen quickly. And we've got Temperance, after a long wait is what's coming up. The Emperor is here. So the Emperor is all four kings in the deck, like in the minor arcana, rolled into one. And the Emperor is respected for their authority and their ability to, you know, rule with fairness, etc. Like kind of like a really highly looked up to individual. So that would be someone that probably is more in a professional, you know, way. Not always, but it's someone that has like authority. Like it could be like a judge, you know, some like a prosecutor, things. I don't know why that's coming up, but that's what's coming up. Prosecutor. So Ace of Wands, the Ace of Wands is a card. All the aces are basically a gift from above, from God. And the Ace of Wands actually is about really having a new passion for discovery. The aces all are, whenever an ace comes up in a reading, it means that there's new. And that's what this is saying. Kind of like, oh, we've got like fulfillment, and we've got the Chariot moving from being patient, and you know, like this is kind of held in high. Whatever is going on here, the higher authorities are in alignment with it. So we've got the Page of Wands, which is a passion for new discovery. It's about the new, doing things in the new. And then we have the Sun. And so the Sun is the happiest card in the deck. When the Sun comes up, like in real life, oh, that's my cat Stella, if you can hear her. I actually found out that my DJI mic, which I just purchased for doing these readings. Actually works really well because it canceled her out. But inevitably, when I do a reading, she likes to be here. I'm surprised she's not trying to get on the table. So the sun is basically, it shines light. It illuminates the entire reading. And the cards in particular around it are, like, it's the happiest card. So it's like when the sun rises and you know, comes up and there's daylight. And here we have the Knight of Swords. And that was also in yesterday's reading. And like the Knight of Swords is like in a hurry. Like it's like, this card shows, and it's, yeah, this is all about speed, this reading so far, till we get to the end card here. But this is about, basically it's just saying that from the time that this reading's starting, from this end to this end, it's moving really, really quickly. Everything's moving really, really quickly. And then, so the Knight of Swords is, you know, he's in a hurry, and you can see his sword doesn't have, like, the point's not showing. So sometimes this is like really young energy. Like the knights were, in the old days, they were young men that started off as around the age of 14 as pages, 7 to 14. They would have them working, doing messages for the king and that. So the Knight of Swords is coming in with a message, but he's in a hurry. He's in a real rush. And sometimes this card is kind of like fools rush in. So it's kind of like someone's not necessarily has all the facts, is what's coming up in this case, but they're in a hurry to get to wherever they're going. We'll see what's going on after. He is chasing the sun though, so it's, you know, it's sort of showing that going this way, that the knight is bringing information in about what all of this is, which is cool. We have then the Two of Swords, and the Two of Swords is kind of a card of it's coming up for this part, a closed mind, but it's also, it can mean that someone has gone inward and they're really using their intuition, and they don't want distraction from outside. And for some reason I'm getting that's kind of where this is at. It's kind of like, this card is basically saying to remain focused on, to be able to pull this energy in. And what's interesting is after the Knight of Swords goes flying in towards this, then there's a stillness here. And so this can be a closed mind, but it can also be about using the third eye, because you have eyes you cannot see. And that's just a saying that means that we can't see most of what's really going on. We form our perceptions regarding what's happening around us, but in reality we can't really see the big picture and all the spectrums of light, etc. But we can see with our third eye. So this is saying a lot of intuition here. And then we have the Death card. So the Death is about, my cat is now playing. If you're hearing this rumbling noise, that's my cat playing with my crystal. It's a ball and she's chasing it around. She loves tarot readings. Excuse me. So the Death card is a card of transition. And it's a bit scary looking, but it really isn't. But what basically what this card is saying, if you look, the Grim Reaper, and the Grim Reaper isn't an evil. It's a symbol of transition that is used by many around the world. But the Grim Reaper has trampled the king. And you can see like that this young boy, this child is like with the flowers saying, hey, what's going to go on? And, you know, the woman is turning away. And the king is on the ground and his crown has fallen off. So it basically what it's saying is that some sort of transition is coming to an end, something that was held as, oh, this will never change, is now changing. So this is definitely, this is a change for the better with this underlying energy of the Four of Wands. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. So, and the Wheel of Fortune is sitting between the Knight and the Sun, which is really cool. So we're going this way because for many reasons, but this reading is, if you think of this as a pyramid, we're climbing up to the top of the pyramid, so we're going up the steps. And so this is kind of the manifestation role. This is kind of what needed to happen to be able to get to this point where we can manifest. And so there needed to be a transition of some point, and now, because this transition has occurred, we are now able to have the Wheel of Fortune turn for us. And we've got the Hermit. So it's really interesting, because what this is basically saying is, like, the Hermit has come down from the mountain, apparently. And the Hermit goes up into the mountain and communes with God and meditates, and then comes down, and his lamp is showing that the enlightenment, and he's come now back down to manifest whatever he learned while he was up there on the mountain. And we've got the Judgment card. Okay, so the Judgment card is, there's been, and this is coming up more like spiritual court. Spiritual court is, you know, God is the only one that's really able to judge properly, because God is the only one that can see the full picture and can understand why people do what they do, because God sees everything. So basically, but this also can be a card of judgment on the physical, like a court, going to court, and, you know, a sentence or whatever being down, and it is sitting on the Emperor. So I'm getting now that this Emperor is kind of like a judge, court energy, an authority figure that has made a call. And we've got the World now. So this is another card of a cycle ending. Cycle ending, cycle ending, cycle ending, moving forward. Yeah, so basically, this World card is, you've come to the end of the cycle, and now you're ready to move forward with the World. And the World is a strong card for change, for change for the better, change for like a new way of doing things, just as the Ace of Wands is for the passion for new. So to be able to embrace this energy, the Ace of Wands is saying, be passionate about the new. This card, these bottom two rows are basically saying that it's time to move forward. It's time to let go of the past. It's time to embrace the future and move towards this fulfillment that you've been wanting. And here we have it. And this came up in yesterday's reading. And just so you know, I always do like a 1 minute wash on my cards, and then I shuffle them and cut them, and before this, but I do it beforehand so that we don't have to listen to all that on here. Everybody's got shift to do. So this card is about rowing off to, like, going on to new shores, like, and the water is very choppy here, and it's very smooth over there on the other side. So this is about you know, leaving everything from the past behind, moving forward. And it also, if you notice, the way that this boat is able to move forward is he's got this long staff. And so this must be shallow water, shallow enough for him to reach the bottom. So this card quite often says that you need to dig deep, or you have gone very deep to get to this point where you're making this choice. So, and here we have a card of conviction. And again, it's not unusual in tarot, if you do a lot of readings, that the cards continue the story from the previous reading. And this is, some of the cards are similar, but there's a few, you know, quite a few different. But this person has been really working towards something, And it's kind of a card saying that there's no doubt, like you know exactly what you want to do, that you have conviction, and anyone that wants to try to stop you, you're going to fight to be able to be in this place where you get to move forward. Without a doubt, you know where you want to go. And then we have the Knight of Wands coming in. And so the Knight of Wands is saying that the Knight of Wands is a rebel with a cause. And the thing about the fire cards, the element of fire, is a lot of times there's some hot-headed, tempered, you know, it's a fiery character. And so the Knight of Wands is learning to rein in his emotions. That's what the horse is representing. And the 3 pyramids in the background there are basically talking about the mysteries of life. And he's got this big red plume on his, you know, on his helmet. And that is an indication that he can be quite hot-headed. But he's reining it in because he's got it's just coming up, he's got a purpose that he's headed towards. And we've got the choices. And this is all about, the 7 of Cups is all about choices. Each of these cups has something in it. And each of these cups, it's about, okay, which cups should I choose? Should I choose all of them? Should I just choose one of them? Which ones, like, it's kind of like those games where, you know, you pick the door. But so this card is speaking about opportunities that can be brought into being. And it's also speaking about qualities of the character. So, and then we have here the 9 of Swords. So this row here is talking about being able to get through the difficulties in life. This, you know, what's coming up is having the courage to. And so when people see this card, you know, it normally, quite often is read as like these swords are all, you know, this person's obviously like, oh, it looks like they're distraught. Having said that, these swords are all lined up almost like steps. And the blanket the quilt that is covering this person is actually has signs of the zodiac on it. So like cosmic signs. So it's basically saying the universe has you covered. And I feel like with this reading, it's kind of like this is talking about past things that are happening or things that are still happening now, but you can feel it kind of winding down. It's sitting right on the Wheel of Fortune, and we've got the Sun here. So it's kind of like this energy here is slowing down, and this happens to a lot of people. A lot of people wake up at like 2:30, 3:30 in the morning, and in between, you know, around those hours, and that is when the Holy Spirit is speaking to you. That's when the universe is waking you up and saying, get up, pay attention. Like you maybe just had a dream or whatever. So sometimes when people, like, you see it looks like this person's distraught, but they might have just woken up and they're trying to remember what their dream was about. And so just as a side note, if you have a dream and you want to remember it, don't move. Like if you just lay there and be very still, making a physical move changes the energy, and quite often that's when you forget a dream. So we've got the Queen of Cups. And so the Queen of Cups is like the most maternal of all the queens. Like she's, you know, she's got this, she has a lid on her cup. So it's like she's a container for love. She loves children. This queen is most likely to be in more of a conventional relationship if she's in one. And it's speaking about, like, this is kind of the energy of someone you would want to marry. So, moving in. And we have a Tower. So, sitting right on this. So, when you see the Tower card, it can be really kind of intimidating. But the Tower card is also a sudden change. It's definitely a reality check. So whatever's been going on here, the choices that were made, and this is having the courage to face it. And maybe there's like, when you look at the people falling out of the tower, one of them is diving out and looks like, hallelujah, let me out of here. And the other one is like, you know, terrified, scared, like it was sudden, they weren't expecting it. So the tower can be just a sign of there is this change that's happening, and that's very clear here. And this change is quite sudden, so it can feel really surprising, or it could be something that you've been waiting for. But sometimes what needs to happen is there has to be like a kaboom, you know, a real big shift in energy for people to really like be forced almost to make the change if they're not doing it on their own. So that if you don't make up your mind, the universe will make it up for you eventually. And then we have the star following that. So the star is, you know, star energy. It's the energy of, she's pouring into the universal waters, and she's also very grounded. And this is really interesting because in the tarot deck, the star does come after the tower. It's the next card. So just the fact that we had the tower and now we have the star, what happens is then after the tower hits, the star energy is like, okay, what am I going to pull together? What am I going to pour into my life now? And staying very grounded, having one foot on the ground and one foot in the water. So it's kind of like being able to really, I don't want to say manipulate the energy, but take mastery over the energy so that you move in the correct direction. And then we have the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is born to shine, and she's following, and one thing I want to explain, she's following the star. The Queen of Wands is very sexy, very hot. You know, she's like, she's very independent. And so she has a black cat, and in tarot, black cats are considered bad luck, but she doesn't care. She doesn't worry about superstition or whatever. She relies on her intuition and on her passion for what she's doing. She's very, with the sunflowers, she's very geared towards turning to the light, has a sunny disposition, basically. And so when there is more than one queen, it can be more than one person, but it also can be different aspects of yourself, because this reading is about you. So my readings are always about you, the collective. Sometimes the energy from the other people come in, but tarot is meant to, for us to be able to improve ourselves, like to be our best version. And so every reading, it may have a lot of outside, some readings do have a lot of outside influences, but every reading is about you. So this may be like, you know, if you have two queens, it can be like these, you know, this maternal person who's also very vibrant and sexy, and, you know, and it's just sort of coming up for me that here, you know, it was just after this revelation, I'm getting, this is not the never-ending nightmare that it can sometimes be read as. Every tarot card has the potential to either be a positive or negative, or a weak or a strong, however you want to look at that, and good or bad. You know, there's and a lot of people, when they'll take reverse cards, but I prefer to keep all the cards upright, because every card has both those qualities showing in every card. And so for me, it's more the cards that are around the reading and the order that they come up in, the interplay of the cards, that's more important than whether it's upside down or straight up. So this card for me is that this energy is someone who's really had an illumination, because it's right underneath above the sun here. And I just feel like I'm getting like these two queens are actually maybe different aspects of one person. And then this card was in yesterday's reading also, and that is like the Ten of Swords. You know, it's coming up again. Like this card is really scary. It's why people are like, oh no, like I don't want that card. Having said that, it is another, like, look at, we've got both sides here, and this row is matters of the heart. So it's kind of like the star and the queen energy are flanked by these two like reality check cards, like endings, like bang, something's gonna happen. This is like fate, basically. And so this Ten of Swords can sometimes be read as a blessing in disguise. You'll notice that his hand there is in the sign of a blessing, similar to the Hierophant and and also the Magician. So this is, sometimes this card is saying that whatever it was came to an end, and I feel like whatever this is now ending, and you know, flanked by like this energy in between with all the choices is flanked by these major kaboom changes. And then we've got the Fool off on their journey. So with the sun shining there, whenever you have the sun and you have another in a reading and you have the sun anywhere in the reading, it just reminds you of the sun. That's basically the a divine blessing. Like the sun is life force energy unleashed. And then we have the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups is the knight, like we have 3 knights in here. So there are a lot of messages coming through. In the old days, it would be like the knight would gallop in on their horse and they'd bring the message for the king, you know, to the king from the king. But these days it can be an email, or it could be a post on social media. It could be a phone call, text. It could be a person coming to your door and knocking on it also. But there's so many different forms of communication that we have now that sometimes people get caught up in the knights when they deliver a message that it would have to be in person, but that's not the case. So a message is coming through about this new journey, and this is really getting into, with all this communication, it's about speaking your truth, about being your truth is what's coming up. Oh, and there's Mr. the devil, boom, right on the tower. So whenever the devil comes up in a reading, I always see what, oh, there, look at, interesting, because this is, in yesterday's reading, this card came up right by the devil also. Really interesting. So this, because this is the soulmates card, and we still have this energy underlying. Yesterday it was the Queen of Swords, like, you know, and off with your heads, I don't want to put up with your bullshit. But like this one here is like the soulmates covering the devil again. And I can't remember exactly. Yesterday, I think the devil was in between this knight and this and this. So the reason I cover the devil is you're not going to get the truth from the devil anyway. So you may as well figure out who, like, the devil doesn't do his dirty work. So he sends in someone. Or sometimes what happens is it's just saying that, because you understand the devil is temptation, right? So it's about here it's just like, because we have this card here, it just seems like this energy is kind of like, it almost feels like these 3 knights are also also one person, and the 2 queens that we have here are the other person. So that's interesting. We'll just keep going and see. Oh, and then this is the 6 of Cups. So this is a card of reconciliation. So reconciliation, basically the first step of reconciliation is for a person to be able to forgive. Forgiveness paves the path to reconciliation. So someone can forgive another person, themselves, but that doesn't mean that they're going to hang around with that person again. They'll forgive them, but they don't want anything to do with them. Reconciliation is, I forgive you, and maybe we can still be friends or whatever. Now, this being the soulmate card, soulmates don't, a lot of times they are romantic partners, and I would say because of this card, it is romantic in this reading, and it feels like this is someone, these two people have met before, and some energy stepped in to separate them when that happened. Now there's hope, you could say, or a possibility of reconciliation. And we have the after going inward. Yeah. So this is about really giving this a lot of thought. Like as rushed, the energy of this reading was, it's all a big rush. And now it's kind of like, from up here, it's just kind of like, okay, let's take our time here. And so that's a good thing. Like if you're in a position out there, any of you, that are thinking about reconciling with someone from your past, it's good that you did the inner work. This is a card of doing a lot of inner work, like meditating, meditative prayer, etc. He's laying there and he's in a church. So the window there, and it's just about going quiet, going inside yourself so that you can make strong choices. And so the final card, oh, there we have it. So we've got the Four of Pentacles. Isn't really an exciting card because it's talking about having like the basics of like a strong, but it is good. It's a strong foundation. You can see both feet are on a coin. So he's got a strong foundation for making money. And then, but I'm getting like the Pentacles aren't just about money. They're about health and wealth and happiness. So the strong foundation is his feet, and then he's holding a pentacle close to his heart. And then we all, the top would be his crown and glory. And interestingly, like this is like the crown of this pyramid. And so normally this would be kind of like a ho-hum, really, Four Pentacles card, but it's really, to me, it's talking about a newer, stronger foundation. And as we walk up, this is the past, the Chariot, moving into calmer waters, having conviction for what you stand for, being willing to unalive for it, or to be unalive for it. Like this is more talking about, the swords are about mental energy. And so they're from the element of air. So this is talking about this person is standing on their convictions, and now they stood on their convictions, and blessing happened, I'm getting, because now it's allowed them, because they stood on their convictions and they move forward. And I'm getting whatever the choice was, the choice needs to be made quickly. So there is no time in tarot, really. It's talking about the past, present, and future at all times. So this could be something that you've already gone through. It could be something that you're going through. It could be something that you went through in the past. But for me, this reading was talking a lot about a lot of sudden energy moving into calmer. And so the Fool is now on their new journey, and they've given it consideration, and they have a strong foundation. So, and also this card is talking about when you get to that point where you have the Four Pentacles, you're able to move into your crown and glory energy. And so coming back down, where is this going? So the reconciliation of the soulmates after the Tower, the Queen of Cups, and the Death card. So this energy between these, there is something that happened here. So this may not be the same person actually now I'm getting. This may be someone that was sort of in the way of this happening. So a karmic of some sort. And then we've got, coming back down here. And this card for me came up, and it still feels like that. Like it's not so much about having a closed mind, but really relying on intuition. And it's basically saying that what happened from the past is now dead, and it's time to just let it go and move forward. I'm going to clarify with my Tales from the Vector Oracle cards, and I just wanted to let you know that I started the Tales from the Vector Oracle. It's from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. It's I started it in 2007, and I completed the last painting. There's 64 of them. I completed the last painting at the end of 2020, and I had to kind of sit on it for a little bit because I had a lot of shift going on. And now I'm working towards bringing the tarot deck into being, but I want to play with the cards and really get some energy from them. So I've just made these with the numbers on them. And you can go to talesfromthevector.com. That's TAILS fromthevector.com. And you can see in the gallery on the home page and also on the shop page for the paintings what the numbers of the cards are that come up here, and take a look at them. And there's also some information there that could be really helpful. So I'm first of all going to take the bottom. So yeah. That's the bottom card from the clarifying. So safe travels. I like that. Yeah. So it's talking again. So coming back when we have a repeat in a reading like this hermit energy here is really what's coming up is it's made it so that the Fool can have safe travels. But this also for me is like kind of like a past card, having a lot of choice, and then choosing one lover, and then having a strong foundation for fulfillment. So perhaps, you know, because of the reconciliation and the forgiveness that was coming up, perhaps this is like there was some sort of cheating or whatever, or a different choice was made for a partner to be with someone else, and now that is over and this reconciliation is wanting to happen. So we'll see what else comes up here. So the Earth Star is the manifestor card, and this is about having the ability to manifest. This is solar plexus energy, which isn't surprising. It's about, you know, energy of the soulmates being lovers, actually. And we have some earth energy coming up with the Virgo. And so the Virgo energy can be very critical at times. So it's kind of my anal criticism or analytical critique. So there's a lot of times people feel like that there was some energy here, and it's sitting close to the Emperor of being and it's talking because it's from the earth. It feels to me like it was energy that was in the 3D, not spiritual so much. And this is of a young adult, and it's sitting kind of on the Emperor, and I feel like the Emperor has learned a thing or two. And you know, the Virgo energy is really about contributing, because if you know, sometimes we really like to have flattery, but analytical critique will really take you a good way. And that's the energy of Virgo, is being able to analyze and do things better. So we also have the Libra energy coming in on this. So that feels to me kind of like this was kind of an energy of a past maybe relationship. There was a lot of maybe, you know, youthful energy, and now it's kind of like ready to settle down, the mature adult. Yeah, the Libra energy is that someone who's getting ready for marriage. So if someone feels like you're ready for marriage, this card is talking a lot about that. And now we also have Sagittarius energy, which is, you know, the fire. And this is about adventure, expanding versus contracting. So Sagittarius likes to expand with knowledge. So that makes sense here. with the Ace of Wands coming in, like learning how to do things better, being willing to make the mistakes that you need to be able to move forward. So that's a really good, strong energy. And we've got this energy on the angry knight there of abuse of power. So that came up in yesterday's reading also. So this energy, though, this is a karmic space. And so everybody can be in that space at some point or the other where you've either abused someone's energy. Sometimes we abuse people without recognizing we're doing it. And quite often we tend to abuse ourselves the most. They say treat others how you treat yourself, but actually, or how you want to be treated. So sometimes we're the hardest on ourselves. So, and then, yeah, here we have that, another karmic space with attachment. So basically, like, really, this energy is so more volatile than up here. It's really interesting with the cards coming through. So on the death card, dissension. So this is a tactic where it's kind of, you know, divide people, like people swimming with sharks, like people that pretend that, oh yeah, they're all this and all that. And that's coming up from this type of energy here that, you know, but behind the scenes, they're stirring the pot constantly, always trying to, they prefer when people are arguing with each other. And, oh, we have the foolhardy energy on the Wheel of Fortune. So the foolhardy means that the path is not foolish, that it's anticipation for what's going to happen. And this means, like, when you're on your path and you're on your God-given plan and you're really in that energy of your purpose, of what you want in your life. And your purpose really is to be the best version of you. So this energy is, yeah, like moving into this, oh, okay, like the Fool up here, we're ready to go. And then we have the High Priestess for the Hermit, which makes sense. So yeah, there's a lot of joy if you go up to the mountain and you hang out with God and you get everything all sort of organized in your head. And you're ready then to come down and, you know, make stronger choices. That's kind of what I'm getting with the choice card on the Judgment and the Hermit. So this High Priestess energy is just, and it's right below the this energy also. So I feel like the High Priestess is very, very intuitive. And so we've got the otherworldly desires, yes. So we've got that for the judgment. I just feel like this energy was really more materialistic, more earthly energy, like following, instead of following the heart, following kind of what you feel like you're supposed to do and having to get ahead, and which makes sense. I mean, when, especially for this energy, it's just coming in, this young male. And so, or not necessarily a young male, but someone who in their youth was behaving more like this. And we have the Hierophant sitting on the, to clarify between the Judgment and the world. So the Hierophant is about the traditional structure, which we have at the top here. And the Hierophant is energy of being like, you know, another authority figure, but this is more on a spiritual level. And so the Temperance card being the devotion, devotion to your life purpose. So if this card isn't always about marriage and it's not always about romance, for those of you who are maybe out there, this isn't like what you're not looking for love. This can be about being able to be and do who and what you love. So it's like a gift from the universe that you would be able to move into this energy of being able to finally, it's coming up finally after the wait, be in a position to really do what you want to do. And we have the Aquarius, which is about experimenting. Yeah. So it's about being able to, like, sometimes in life we get beaten down, or we just, it's just in some people's nature to sort of stay back and kind of observe rather than getting involved. But this card is basically saying it's time to experiment with life. It's time to move forward. It's time to really go after what's in your heart more than basically what's always logical. And so the need to be right is on there. That's another karmic space. So that's really interesting, because that's coming up between the world and going off, you know, and having the conviction. So sometimes we need to be right. Like it's our lives depend on it. But quite often people will get caught up in being, I was right. And so, you know, this card is asking, like, do you want to actually be right, or do you want to be happy? And so, clarifying the Knight of Wands is the Tower. So there we have it. Now the Tower, when you look at the Tower, it can be a good explosion, if you know what I mean. And so the Knight of Wands, is, you know, he loves his wand. So it's just, yeah, saying again that there was maybe some cheating, whatever, dallying, I'm kidding. I don't know why that word came out, but it's not a word I usually use. But lack of awareness. So lack of awareness is on that. We're clarifying the opportunities and this. So being able to really look at things from a different perspective and really use your intuition and follow like kind of that more intuitive guidance as well, and apply, like if you get the answers from your intuition and then you apply logic to it, that's what's coming up. And we have the Scorpio, a lot of cards with the astrological aspects coming in. And so astrologically, what it's saying is basically, because we're on the Wheel of Fortune here, that this is destiny again. It's like the planets are lining up for this. When I'm doing a general reading, when I have a sign come up, a horoscope sign come up, it's more like a state of being for me. So it's like, because it's too general. So although it could be like, you know, these elements could be with those signs, but on a more general level, it's talking about Scorpio energy is about, do you want to elevate or do you want to conquer? So, and we've got the Devil there. So we've got on the Death. So there we have it. Death to that energy. And just covering up. I just wanted to cover that to see. So we've got the Lovers. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Because the Devil's here on the Lovers, and then the Devil's here covered by the Lovers on the way back down. There's confirmation. I love how tarot works. So SCOTOMA, that makes sense. It's you know, when you have a blind spot, and so sometimes what happens is we can't see something ourselves, but everybody else can see it. Or we can see something and no one else can see it. And it's kind of talking about that energy with the middle of the night awakening. And then dissemination. So there is some dissemination, and that's covering like the star. So this is about dissemination is like energy. A lot of times you can see this in politics, like talking a lot of words that no one really understands what they're saying. But they say a lot, and then you're still sitting there and, well, what did that mean? So dissemination is kind of scrambling information, and so that you can't really be held accountable for it. And we have the Hangman on top of the Queen of Wands. And so this is about balance. And so I feel like this Queen of Wands has been like, this is more the energy of the masculine coming through, and this is more the energy of this, like I'm just getting, there was something that had to be forgiven, and you know, if you're going to forgive, then forgive. And, you know, a lot of times when we're having difficulty forgiving, it's because we can't forgive ourselves. And so we have to be able to recognize that we're human, and sometimes we're going to make mistakes, and we have to be able to come to a point where we can forgive ourselves. So, and then we've got the Aries energy. So this is really interesting because this is like baby energy. Aries is the infant, you know, and it's about being and doing, but we've got that also. And so really interesting. Basically it's talking about that this Queen of Wands is ready to have a family, because she, like the Queen, and the Queen of Cups that was down here, she's covered now by the High Priestess, is the more maternal energy. So it kind of feels like this was someone maybe that she wanted to settle down at that time, and he was sowing oats or doing his business, and now there's some sort of like forgiveness happening, and that's allowing reconciliation to maybe occur here. And we've got the perception, yeah, the grass was greener because it was fake. Yeah, this is usually like my cheating card. So it's kind of about having a new perception, and that's after going inward. And it's really beautiful actually, because whatever was going on here, there's been forgiveness, and forgiveness starts with being able to forgive yourself, and having this battle star is about the solar plexus energy, having the courage to, yeah, basically go back in there and do it again. That's what's coming up. So not for everyone that you would want to go back to someone, especially if there was abuse of power, you know, that I'm not suggesting that you do that, but in this reading it's coming up less abuse of power and more immaturity is the word that I was looking for. Yeah, the denial, you know, what I don't know won't hurt me. So I just feel like there was some sort of energy of cheating, basically. And now it's being forgiven, and it took a while. It's temperance. It's about having the patience. And then the wheel spins with synchronicity. And the karmic space of indifference. So I feel like that indifference is over. So sometimes when we get to a point where we just are indifferent, it's a karmic energy where we just don't feel anymore. We don't have, and a lot of people get upset with that feeling, but that's also a feeling. It's not to be confused with neutrality, but I don't get so much that there was some indifference here for sure, but I feel like it was more because of immature energy, and now it's kind of more like neutrality. The indifference is more of a neutral way to be. So yeah, a really, really interesting reading. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I'm really enjoying doing these readings. I've been working with this, and every time I do one, and there's more people involved in that collective, the more information that comes pouring in. So if you want to take a look at the paintings, I'll have these listed in the description, and I'll also have like the chapter where we move into this so that you have an idea. And I can't figure out for the life of me how to get my links to work in the video descriptions. I'm working on it. But thank you so much. If you enjoyed this reading, please do consider liking and subscribing if you're resonating. And I will come back out here and do another reading tomorrow. Bye for now.